debt tied to a depreciating asset. You do not appreciate debt tied to a depreciating asset. Welcome to the Retire on Time Q&A podcast. I'm Mike Decker here with David Franson. As always, text your questions to 913-363-1234 so we can not talk about the oversimplified advice you've heard hundreds of times. This show is all about getting into the nitty-gritty. That said, remember, this is just a show. This is not financial advice. Don't listen to it and just do what we say. Make sure it's right for you. Do your due diligence. Do your research. It's very important. All right, David, what do we got today?
Hey, Mike, if I am 10 years away from retirement but still have some debt, should I pay off my debt first or focus on saving in my IRA?
The question is predicated on the type of debt you have.
Okay.
So let's dive into the nitty-gritty of this.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, all right. Different types of debt. Credit card debt, bad debt.
Yeah.
Right? Car debt, bad debt.
Yeah.
Why? The reason, not all debt is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Debt tied to a depreciating asset. You do not appreciate debt tied to a depreciating asset, as in anything that has no value or the value is going down.
Yeah.
Your car is going down in value. I mean, it did the second it left the lot. Your credit card, you've already spent it. You've got the value. There's no more future value, but you're paying 2 or 3 times or whatever the rate is for that thing that you got. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if your debt is tied to a depreciating asset, there's a good chance that the rate is higher and there's no reason to keep that debt around. Mm. So that's the cautionary tale. Now good debt. Good debt would be debt that you've taken on at a reasonable rate, not predatory rate,
okay.
A reasonable rate that's tied to an asset that is growing in value. You appreciate debt that is tied to an asset that appreciates in value. Let me explain. Your house hopefully appreciates or grows in value. So you might have debt and you're on your mortgage, right? You're paying your mortgage rate. It's 4 or 5% or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Maybe you got a 2 or 3%, whatever those really low rates were.
Right.
And you look at it, it's like, well, hold on. I'm paying this and the debt's going this far against me, but my neighborhood's growing in value. I'm actually making money on this. Like, that's not that bad of a situation. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's the first thing you got to look at. And if you've got bad debt, pay it down quickly. Now, the question then comes up, well, shouldn't I just put money in the market? Because the market's going to grow at a higher rate than this debt. Right. Not necessarily. Now you've got to compare the dollar amount or the cash flow compared to the interest each month that's going against you. Let me explain.
Okay. So
if you have credit card debt that's 20, 25%, 30%, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I think 19% is the going rate for good credit. If that's going against you each month, and let's say you've got 20,000 or so against you, look at the interest against you every month and then compare that to the interest you could grow.
Okay.
So if there's more interest going against you than the growth in that year, you want to pay down the debt that has more interest against you. It's like trying to run out of quicksand. You're sinking more than you're rising. Mm-hmm. You want to get out of those situations, okay?
So interest against me would be like if I looked at my credit card statement and it said last month you were charged, I don't know, $80 on credit card A, credit card B, there's another 40, and then so all that's like going against you, right?
Yeah.
But interest going for me, if I had my savings account from my bank and I was earning 1 or 2%, oh, you made $5 in interest. So I'm out of balance there. I have more going against me than for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Great, just simple explanation.
Okay.
So now you've got to, and now you have to also compare the interest rate itself. Mm. So dollar for dollar, if you're not going to make 19% in the market year over year. Right. But I can guarantee you that credit card company is going to charge you that interest every single year.
Yeah.
So my rule of thumb is any interest above whatever the 10-year treasury is times, or just a little bit above that. So if the 10-year treasury is like 4%, then 6% or greater interest, you probably ought to pay that down as quick as you can. Mm. If your mortgage is 6% or less, then you need to ask yourself, okay, well, how much interest? Like, let me say it differently. If you have a mortgage of $500,000, okay, what's 4 or 5% interest on $500,000 versus 9% potential growth on $1,000 extra a month? So you have to calculate the growth potential versus the interest going against you.
Okay.
And there's an equilibrium that when your mortgage ends up being like, I don't know, 100,000, 200,000, and the amount of money that you could save, that it starts to shift to where you could start investing because there's not as much interest going against you. And people often miss this. They like to be in the all debt is bad camp or debt's how you make money camp. And it's just not that simple. Okay. So that's a general overall rule of thumb. Bad debt, pay it down quickly. Once that's done, then put as much money into the IRAs and the 401ks and so on.
Okay.
Now that said, this is the kind of the caveat of it all.
All right.
Okay. Every year you're working, you're able to contribute to a Roth and to an IRA. When you stop working, you can't, but there are limits. So you have to kind of balance. If you have credit card debt, you pay that off quick. If you have an auto loan and you want to pay it down quick, but you also could contribute to a Roth, maybe you max out the Roth contributions that year, and then the rest is an additional payment to pay down the auto loan faster.
Okay.
You see, 19%, that's ridiculous. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
7%, you're kind of in this weird, like you have a limited window you can put money into a Roth.
Yeah.
So you can kind of start to, so this is now where you have the nuance of saving strategies in preparation for retirement. And there's different levels. There's really bad debt. There's bad debt, but you might balance between funding a couple of different places. Maybe you don't just focus on debt, but you get the employer match, which is free money, versus and then pay down your auto loan faster. Maybe there's a loan on the house that something happened, and you can you have to kind of bring context and compare what the options would be. And then typically the house is the trickiest one. Here's what I have found to be the truth. If you retire and having a mortgage is going to keep you up at night, you're going to want to pay down the house faster. If you're okay having a mortgage payment, maybe for the first 10 years of your retirement, but it's at a very low rate. It's like let's say you're locked in at the 3% rate or 4% rate, it's pretty low.
Yeah.
Then you might just keep making the payments and have your assets in the market where it can grow. That's called positive arbitrage. It's a fancy word of basically saying, let's just say you've got $100,000 left on your mortgage and you've got $100,000 of cash that you could do something with.
Okay.
And you're just having this debt conversation with yourself. Well, the $100,000 is probably going to grow at a greater rate than the debt. It's not a guaranteed growth though. Right? So you have to ask yourself, you can either pay it down at a sure rate or you can put it in the market and hope it grows at a better rate. And if it does, then you made money dollar for dollar.
Right.
See, the young people, they don't realize that this only works if it's $100,000 you can pay it off or you can invest it. That's a dollar for dollar comparison. If you don't have $100,000, that's your mortgage that's left, and you're just trying to look at the next $1,000 to spend or to save or to invest, then you have to do a comparison on the interest against you versus the interest you could make with the money that you're saving.
I see.
So you don't want to confuse the two in that sense.
Okay.
You want all conversations in finance to be within its appropriate context. Apples to apples, not apples to oranges. And then we do have that fun, if you want to explore debt planning, debt payoff planning, freedebtplanner.com or retireondime.com. You can go to the debt planner. It's a fun tool. You can put all of your debts in there and it will show you the fastest way to pay them down. It will show you more emotionally, like just pay off the smaller debts faster. Great way to say, I'm 40 years old, I'm 50 years old. I need to get a grip on my debt so that I can more intentionally save for retirement and be more proactive with it. Dave Ramsey is right in the sense that debt is modern day slavery. It is predatory. It is ridiculous. Good debt, though, is not predatory. It's just a risk assessment on you're being lent money at a reasonable rate.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is something I don't like. Can I get on a pedestal for just a second?
Be my guest.
Many people have said and claimed that debt is against the Bible. It's not a Christian thing. Like I believe like there are some Middle Eastern religions or versions of a religion where they just won't touch debt. Love that idea. Okay. And respect that idea. But in the Bible, because that's what I'm more familiar with. Okay. in the Bible, in the Old Testament, debt is not against, the original doctrine. What really is, it talks about how predatory debt is not of God. Okay.
Okay.
But if you have someone in need, to lend them money at a reasonable rate,
Yeah.
you can find that in Leviticus. You can find that in Deuteronomy. Like, it talks about that. And that's the difference between good debt and bad debt. If you are trying to buy a house, that's a reasonable need to
Yeah.
support your family. And at a 4 or 5% rate, that is a reasonable rate for what that would be. Now, do you make the minimum payments? No, maybe you should pay it off a little faster, because you are now technically a slave master relationship with the bank.
Yeah.
Kind of like, who's that guy that, like, was it Jacob who went and was like a slave for 10 years to marry the girl? And then the guy was like, forget about it. You have to be a slave again for the 10 years because I'm going to trick you.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
was that?
Is
Is that Isaac? It's Jacob? I don't know. One of
those guys.
I'm embarrassed to forget in this very moment who that was.
I'm with you.
But
yes, I know who you're talking about.
I could pull it up on the phone and we'd
Yeah.
have it. But
Was he trying to marry a girl named Rachel or something? Or I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, we remember the girl's name, but not the guy.
Yeah. Right.
But notice the relationship. There was a very clear contract for a specific reason that was negotiated. I think it is fair to either not have a house, or you have a house and make reasonable payments, but you need to exert yourself to not be a slave for 30 years. You want to pay it off quickly. So as the home appreciates in value, that's the goal, your money is still being well suited. The idea is, if your home appreciates in value at the same rate that's going against you, it's not that bad of a deal. That's not predatory.
Yeah.
But to live off of credit card debt, that's allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. And that's the difference. Debt is fine as long as it's done within reason. The problem is we get addicted to spending. We get addicted to, I'm feeling pain. What's the fastest way out of the pain? Some people, they go to addiction. Some people, they go to spending, which is a different form of addiction to alleviate that pain.
Yeah.
That's how you rack up credit card debt. It's trying to be paid before you've done the work. It is an imbalance of an exchange, and that's why there's predatory. It's not that banks are evil, though in some sense you could argue that because they allow this to happen.
Yeah.
It's because there's so much risk on the bank for lending you money with no collateral. I mean, they have credit card debts with collateral, just no one wants them.
Yeah.
Because you have to put up the collateral to have that line of credit.
Right.
Right. So no, that people like this idea of no strings attached. Basically, you hit my credit score, slap me on the rate. So there's a reason for those rates. They're not predatory in the evil sense. It's an imbalance of the negotiations, and you're paying for that imbalance if you don't pay off your credit card every single month. So hopefully this has been a helpful conversation in what debt is okay. How do you handle it? Do you want to pay it down? Yes. Is it good? Yes. You want to invest. You want to max out your employer match if they have one. You want to max out your Roth if you have it. But you also want to be mindful of paying down your debts. And instead of ignoring all this and going on lavish vacations, you want to find balance for you. There's that great book, The Richest Man in Babylon, talking about Bible stories. Babylon's supposed to be like the evil guy. But anyway.
Yeah.
But he talks about paying yourself first. You've got to pay yourself first. And a part of that is freeing yourself from modern day slavery or predatory debt.
Yeah.
Find balance in your cash flow.
And I think, just to put one last little bow on it, my big takeaway is it's okay to have a little bit of debt if it means putting some money in your IRA.
Yeah, I'd focus on the Roth before the IRA.
Oh, yes. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, when you're working, you can do that. When you're not working, you can't do that.
Oh, right. Okay.
So you just be mindful of those opportunities, but find balance. It might not. I don't see, like, if you have credit card debt, to want to do your Roth and then deal, like, you want to get rid of the high ones first.
Yeah.
But if you have lower, more reasonable debt, so like an auto loan at a reasonable rate or a mortgage, then you might say, we're going to do $5,000 this year to the Roth and $5,000 to paying off the home a little bit faster.
Oh,
Whatever's right for you. Everyone's going to have a different blend to this. But taking advantage of getting money into a retirement account, and the reason is retirement accounts grow without capital gains issues. So you can more appropriately, more aggressively, more strategically grow that money
Mhm.
without all of the consequences, as opposed to trying to get it all in at the last moment.
Mm.
That there's limitations to it.
Right.
So, as they say, balance in all things.
Love it.
If you enjoyed this show, make sure to leave a rating, subscribe to it wherever you get your podcast, or on YouTube. And most of all, tell a friend. The bigger the show gets, the more subscribers we have, the better the content will be, the more resources we're able to provide to you. As always, on retireontime.com, you can get the book, the workbooks, you can get the planning calculators. There's so many things on there. Just go to retireontime.com to explore those resources. And as always, you're invited to join any of the workshops we've got going on, where I actually create a plan live and answer your questions as I build. All of that, retireontime.com. Thanks for spending your time, your most precious asset, with us today. We appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next show.